Learning goal number 12, dividing positive and negative fractions. Today we're going to be talking about dividing fractions, but before we get into dividing fractions, I want to talk about something with you called the multiplicative inverse, which is the reciprocal of a fraction. For example, we got 3/4 here. Its multiplicative inverse, or its reciprocal, would be if I just flip the 4 and I flip the 3 and I get 4/3. That is the multiplicative inverse, or its reciprocal. Very little vocab you need to know right there. Now let's jump into a problem. All right, we have 1/3 divided by 1/6. So we do not divide by a fraction. We never divide another fraction by a fraction. So instead of dividing, we multiply by the reciprocal. When I say reciprocal, I also mean multiplicative inverse. So 1/3 divided by 1/6, I'm actually going to take 1/3 and multiply by the reciprocal, or the multiplicative inverse of 1/6, which is 6/1. Now, something I did not talk to you about in the last video when we talked about multiplying. Yeah, we're going to multiply across the top and across the bottom and then simplify. But sometimes it is actually better to cross-simplify first before we multiply to sort of save ourselves a little bit of work in the long run. For example, you look 1 and 1, okay, that's simplified as it gets. But 3 and 6, they both have a 3 in common. So what I can do is I can take that 3 out now so I don't have to simplify it out later. For example, 3 goes into 3 once, and 3 goes into 6 twice. So 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. So 1/3 times 6/1 is 2/1. Now let's say I didn't cross simplify before I did that. I had 1/3 times 6/1. If I just multiply across the top, 1 times 6, I get 6. If I multiply across the bottom, 3 times 1, I get 3. Now if I simplify, I get 6 divided by 3, which is 2/1, which is the same thing. But by cross simplifying, I sort of ease the amount of multiplication I have to do. I don't have to multiply as big of numbers, so I can stay within the easier, well-known like 12 by 12 multiplication table. You don't have to cross simplify, but it's an easier process. If you can do that little bit of work before you multiply top and bottom, it'll save you in the simplification at the end. Okay, let's take a look at another example right now. -4/9 divided by 2. All right, we're going to leave -4/9 the same. We're going to change that division to multiplication. 2 right now is 2/1. We're going to change it to multiplication by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 2/1 is 1/2. So we had -4/9 divided by 2. We now change it to -4/9 times 1/2. We got a negative times a positive. That would be a negative. We can cross simplify. We got 4 and 2. Those are both divisible by 2, top and bottom. Okay, when we look to cross simplify, we're looking top and bottom. 4 and 2 are both divisible by 2. 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 goes into 2 once. Okay, now multiply. 2 times 1 is 2. 9 times 1 is 9. Now, if I just multiplied across without cross simplifying prior to, I would have to then simplify after a little bit more. But you should still reach the answer -2/9. Let's take a look at another example. All right, we got 1 1/5 divided by 2 1/4. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change those mixed numbers to improper fractions. So 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6/5, divided by 4 times 2, 8, plus 1, 9/4. Okay, I don't divide. Instead of dividing, I multiply by the reciprocal. So I got 6/5 times 4/9. And then from there, I can cross simplify top and bottom. So 6 and 9 are both divisible by 3. 3 goes into 6 twice. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 4 and 5, they don't have anything in common. Now I can multiply. 2 times 4, 8. 5 times 3, 15. There's your answer, simplified, 8/15. There's a few examples for you right now. Go ahead and take a few minutes and do the following problems right now.